Hello and welcome back. Good knots are essential for putting big fish in the net. If your knot fails, you risk having a big fish swimming around with your expensive bait in its mouth. On today's Tuesday Tech Tip, we're going to show you 3 great knots that should cover all your knot tying needs. Now let's get to it. So this first knot is going to be very good for bringing 2 types of lines together that are of different sizes or types. For instance, you could take a braided line and join it with fluorocarbon, like if you have a fluorocarbon leader, or you could do fluoro to mono or braid to mono, whatever, doesn't really matter. So we're going to pretend that this is our braided line. Actually, let's do this one as our braided, and this is our fluorocarbon leader. What we want to do is we want to overlap these. We're going to pinch here, and we're going to grab, make a circle, just like that. I always pinch here, put my fingers here. Then we're going to run this in. 1. Down here, make sure you got plenty of tag line. Wrap it 1, 2. I'm going to do just 2 because this is thick, but you want to do that 7 times. Then you just want to pull this tight so that locks up. You can see that knots up pretty well. Then on this side, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to wrap it, pinch it, hold it out, wrap it 1. I'm going to do 2, 7. Then we're going to pull that in, let those knots tighten up. Then you're going to grab each end and pull until those knots come together. Bam. Now what ends up happening with this is these knots, when they touch, as that line tightens and stretches, it just makes those knots even tighter. So we really pull in, and that's a very, very strong knot. It's called the double uni knot. Use it all the time to tie on my leaders. This first knot is going to be for tying braid onto a hook or maybe your leader. We'll pretend this is the hook and this is the line. This is braided line. We're going to take it in 1, 2 times. Make sure you have plenty of tag line there. What I like to do is put my fingers between these and have this run out between, this is your main line, run between these 2 fingers. This is going to come over the top. This is again your tag line. You're going to drop that over these 2 fingers. You're going to pinch here, and you're going to spread your fingers a bit, and there's a cross there where it X's. Where that crosses over, you want to pinch. Now I want to take this finger and pull it out, and then slide it underneath these 2 lines. Then I'll spread my fingers. I have this hooked in underneath this finger to keep it nice and taut. Then I'm going to take my tag in and I'm going to wrap it 7 to 10 times. Now I'm just going to do it twice because I've got a thick line here, but imagine that's 10. Then I'm going to pull my fingers out, tighten it down, and then pull this main line and slide my knot down until it comes to the hook or leader, and then cut my tag end. And that is one of the strongest knots you can use for braided line. The next knot I use is the Palomar knot. I use this to tie up leaders. So for instance, I have this fluorocarbon leader here, and I have a knot at the end that I tie on to my swivel. I use a Palomar knot for that. So here's how you tie that. It's a pretty common knot. Most people know how to do it. If you don't, well, hang on, we'll learn. So what we do is we run this through, and then you run it back. Then what you want to do is pull this out and let that hang. Now I don't like to have my line cross like that. I like it to be flat. Then you're going to simply just do a loop without the cross, run it through, tighten this down, wet it, because fluorocarbon will burn. Then you slide this back through the hook, bring it up, pull this tight. Not sure I'm going to be able to do this with this line. It's starting to do it. It's not going to work. But the trick is when this tightens down, you want that to come right over the top like that. So, I'll imagine that was pulled tight. I just grab my main line, pull that, it'll cinch down. Again, it's wet so that it doesn't burn. And then after I'm done, clip the end. And I find that's really good for fluorocarbon. I do that for all of my leaders whenever I hand tie those. So there you have 3 very good knots, probably all the knots you'll need. You have one for braided line, you have one for fluorocarbon leaders, and then the last one would be the fluorocarbon leader to braid. So that should essentially cover all the fishing knots that you will need for musky fishing. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.